Hey everybody, welcome to Redbird Gardening and Design. I'm Anissa. This video is probably going to be broken down into a short as well as a full-length video. I've got lots to say, and then doing it in 1 minute, it just isn't going to be enough time. But standing in the vegetable garden here, August the 4th, it is blazing hot. The sun is peeking out through the clouds. Humidity is sky high. This year's garden did not do well. I ripped a lot of it out. I should have took a before and after shot, but I'll show you what it looks like right now. Starting over pretty much, I know in a lot of places in the northern parts of the country is full bore. You guys are probably harvesting cucumbers and tomatoes, maybe some peppers at this point. But in the south in Florida, it's a totally different situation. So here's what I've done. I had cucumbers growing on here. They got the cucumber borer in it as a worm, tore it out. And over here in the middle bed, tomatoes, they did horribly, burnt up because of the heat and the sun. It did put in some shade cloth paneling to help them, but they just are too far gone. Also, I was sick for 2 weeks, so that didn't help me either. I had weeds everywhere. I got a little bit of weeding to do in the pathway right here. And if you see some little brown moths flying around, that's Sod Webworm in the moth stage of it. So I need to treat it as well. They've been in here quite prevalent. Also, this bed had some onions. I've been fighting off nematodes. I've been fighting off voles that go underneath. They tunnel underground and come up in the beds. They wiped out a garlic planting I did a year and a half ago. Over here I had greens and just too hot. This plant down here, that's jalapeno peppers. They're doing very well. They love the heat. Here, these are Melrose peppers, green peppers in the back. Those are doing all right. These two guys are avocados grown from seed. I'm kind of playing around to see what happens. This big one in the middle is squash. I'm uncertain of what I'm doing wrong because I'm finally getting fruit, but this is what happens. They yellow out and fall off. So I'm not sure, because here's another one, nice and green. It's doing all right. Looks like somebody took a bite out of it. I probably have a worm in that one. So as you can see, I'm fighting a lot of different issues. I probably am going to just tear it off and let it go, unfortunately. You can see there's some dieback in there with the brown leaves. So some folks probably think, you got your own channel and you know what you're doing. I do know what I'm doing. I do know how to plant. I do know how to grow. I also know when to stop and try again. So a lot of people are reporting the same things, same issues, too hot, beat up. The soil has been prepped properly. That's your starting point with anything growing wise. You want to have good nutrients in the soil so the plants can have something to uptake, obviously, and to sustain them. Watering's been done properly. I hand water most often. You just got to do and adjust, right? So I've already put down some better soil, amended the beds. I've put some nice vegetable gardening fertilizers, which is natural, down, and raked it into the beds as well. And at this point, I can see some of the peppers over there need some water, but they're doing all right. So I'm going to leave the peppers. Here it is. The garden is in redo mode. And August is actually a very, very good month for the state of Florida. A lot of people don't know this, specifically for Florida, because it's its own little monster, so to speak, because of the weather, because of the heat, because of our downpour rains, because of possibility of big storms. August is when you're going to start putting in specific seeds. I'll post the image here of what to do, when to do it. It's a growing guide. So this growing guide shows that you can start things from seed, when to transplant. It's a super helpful guide and resource. I use it quite often. And it comes from a local source here in the state that knows what they're doing, that have tried and true, tested things, and it works for them. So this is go time here in the state of Florida for starting seeds, transplanting various different crops. And now, you know.